Welcome back to Choosing Us.
Go team, go.
Yes. Let's do this.
Michaela's introing us today.
Yeah. You don't even really know.
I have no idea what to do.
I know.
I'll shut up.
I'm really excited.
I'll shut up.
You just got to go with the flow and figure out the stories I'm going to bring in here.
She introed this with, I've got a few stories. It's like, oh, okay, let's rock and roll. Are you leading today? She said, yeah. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. So it actually started with this morning, which I'm going to just take a deep breath here and throw some real life mom life at you. Okay. So this was my morning after you left. You didn't even know.
I'm learning with you guys right now.
Yep.
So I'm learning as you go. As you listen and learn, I learn at the same time.
You're welcome. You're going to love it. So Brad was great and got the kids dressed for the day while I was at the gym. And I get home, you leave, and I am trying to make food, and our two boys love to cook. They always want to be in the kitchen when I'm in the kitchen, and they always want to help me cook, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it takes like 10 times as long.
But I'm trying to be patient about it.
Yeah.
Trying to let them have those experiences and learn. It does take longer. But this morning, I decided while I was making breakfast to distract them by giving them both a Tupperware full of cake flour. full of flour.
Brilliant,
I know. With like measuring tapes, and I'm trying to be that like good, fun mom, lets them do things. Well, it was fine because I was in the kitchen kind of keeping an eye on them, and they were doing great. They were just playing in their bowls with their flour, mixing it up. They loved it. Well, I was like, they're doing good. I'm going to run upstairs really fast and change so I could get ready to come here and record. I'm up there probably 5 minutes and come down.
It's 5 minutes too long with them.
5 minutes too long, I know. And I actually hear our oldest screaming downstairs, Mom, Mom. I'm like, oh, great. So go sprinting downstairs. He's not in the kitchen. He was in the bathroom with his bowl full of flour and had filled it with water and then was trying to dump it down the sink. So by the way, when you get home, that drain's kind of clogged right now.
I'm sure it is.
Yep. So,
awesome.
Yep, you're welcome. And yep, real life, mom life right there. Now, yes, that was on me. I definitely should not have left them alone with flour. So I actually get to go home and clean up that mess. But it's fine. They had a great time. So that was just real mom life right there. But leading into the topic of the day, something that I have really, really been working on is acting with intention instead of reacting out of emotion. And that was something that as I ran down the stairs, found him in the bathroom, there was flour, wet flour everywhere. And I could have freaked out and been like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? Instead, I took a deep breath. I was like, all right, it's fine. Let's clean up. Let's clean you up. I had to change both of their clothes because they were covered in flour from head to toe. And I got it cleaned up. And that is something I've been working on a lot, but not just with the kids, but also in every aspect of my life. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It is freaking hard, not just responding and acting out of emotion. How often I feel like that's the natural response for everybody, that you just, whatever emotions you're feeling, however you're feeling in that moment, it gets put onto anybody around you. If you're having a bad day, it gets put off on your kids and your spouse and your friends. And that's the part that they get instead of you controlling your emotions, controlling each and every situation, and responding with intention.
And here's the thing in today's society. It's acceptable to react.
Yeah.
People think it's okay.
Right.
That's why they do it. They react in public, and things have only been exacerbated with our economy and our world since COVID. Go out and about. I mean, I've had my face ripped off from people reacting to something that I've done that they didn't like.
Road rage.
Road rage. I mean, we recently had somebody killed here in Utah due to road rage 2 weeks ago. And that's just somebody reacting
Yeah.
and not responding with intention and being proactive about their emotions. People forget that your emotions are simply a notifier of how you're feeling. They're not fact.
Right.
If you're pissed off at something, it's not fact. You're choosing to be pissed off. If you're angry, if you're upset, and vice versa, if you're happy and excited and joyous about a situation, it's because you're choosing that. So often we give so much credence to, how did you react in that situation? Always to the negative, always to the unresourceful. But don't ever ponder about that same, how did you react in the resourceful side? When you chose to be happy, kind of like your response this morning, you chose to react proactively, intentionally, and not jump down their throat. But, that's on me. I left them with bowls of flour.
Yep.
And I went upstairs. That's a recipe for a disaster. It's also a recipe for a grand old time to a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Oh, they loved it.
So which lens are you viewing? Are you viewing of now I have to react and now I have to clean and now I have this mess and now I have all this stuff? Or are you viewing from their lens of that was awesome? That was great. The lens to which you choose to view life will alter how you're feeling.
Yeah. Well, and it was cool to see Bingham, our oldest son's reaction, because he was screaming, "Mom, Mom, Mom, come help me," because there was flour everywhere. And I come down and he's all tense.
Side note, he's our clean freak.
He is. He does not like to be dirty. And he was all tense when I got down there, ready for me to just explode, right? Freak out. Oh my gosh, what a mess. And I took a deep breath and was like, all right, it's okay. Let's clean it up. We're good. And it's cool to see how his emotion changed, how he responded, and how he was able to be like, oh, it is okay. And I feel like that also could be the case in relationships, that how you react to your partner when they're expecting you to come back and like freak out at them or yell back or whatever it may be. If you respond out of the norm, take a deep breath and be like, okay, I understand that I hurt your feelings, or I understand that you're angry or upset. I think that would make your partner take a step back too and be like, oh.
Absolutely. How many times have you felt attacked so you responded with aggression?
Yep.
Versus how many times have you felt understood and responded with love and compassion? Regardless of situation.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what's happening. But when you respond to somebody with intention, with love, with compassion, with candor, that's reciprocated in most use cases. And that's because we simply reflect. I mean, this is your significant other. This is your special person. This is your other half. And there is a lot of rapport there. And because there's a lot of rapport, you naturally reflect each other. For instance, while we're recording this, I naturally crossed my leg. Why is my leg crossed? Because Michaela's leg is crossed. I'm mirroring her. Did it happen consciously? Nope. But that is how humans respond. So her left leg was crossed. I crossed my right leg. I exactly mirrored her. We do this in life all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly. And if you pay attention, you're going to see it. If you respond to somebody, especially your significant other, which you probably arguably should have the most rapport with of anybody on planet Earth, if you respond with aggression, you're going to get aggression because the rapport has been built and established and solidified. But if you respond with candor and love, you're going to get candor and love most of the time because we are hardwired to mirror and reflect those people who we have rapport with. There's so much in sales. If you're in sales, you'll know this. You build rapport with people and then you can sell them on anything. Your significant other, your special person, you have the deepest roots of rapport with. That's why you can open up to them. That's why you can do these things. And if you can't do these things, you should probably check to see, do you have rapport in the first place?
Can they even trust you?
Yeah. And this comes back to, how do you respond to situations?
Well, and letting your outside circumstances, letting things that went on throughout your day, you're exhausted, you had a client that was not happy or whatever it may be, and you're letting these outside circumstances affect how you go home and respond to your partner, how you do that.
And they have no bearing. Zero bearing. If my day is stressful and unresourceful as all get out, that has no bearing on home.
You know, I have a story that I was thinking about on the drive over here of a situation like this that I can remember pretty clearly. There are some mornings, a few times a week, that you go for a bike ride and you go out and do your road bike. And I was at home with the kids and making breakfast. They had just woken up. They were whiny, fussy, hungry. I was trying to deal with all the things. And then you come in the door, and usually you're pretty calm and collected because that's like your meditation time. But I remember this one circumstance where you came in the door and you were snappy. You were so snappy. And that was out of the norm for you because normally you come in calm and collected. But you came in so snappy and the kids were whiny and you were kind of irritated with them, being like, calm down. Why are you doing this? Stop whining. And I looked at you, and at first, my first instinct was I wanted to tell you, go back in the garage, try that again. Go take a deep breath, and then maybe come back in and we'll try this again. Because we were already had all the energy going on. I was trying to stay calm and make everybody breakfast and take care of everything. And you came in and kind of just added this extra energy to it. And what I ended up saying was, I was like, you're being really snappy right now. Like, what is going on? Why are you being so snappy? Do you remember this situation?
I do.
And it kind of took me back. And this goes back to, you don't know what your partner's day has been like. You don't know why they're acting a certain way. So instead of me jumping down your throat, being like, you came in the door and we're all struggling already, and you come in and start snapping at everybody and getting all irritated, like, I didn't do that. I said, what's going on? What happened? Like, why are you so irritated? And your first response was, oh, I didn't realize I was being snappy. I didn't realize that I was being mean, that I was being irritated and frustrated. You didn't even know. And then you thought about it for a minute. Mm-hmm. And what had happened?
Just before I got into our neighborhood, I almost got hit by a car. I came around an intersection and a truck, a big old F-350 diesel, didn't even look. And I was right there, and I put the bike sideways and about hit this truck. I don't even think he ever even noticed me. Like, I don't even think he really even realized that I was there on a bike. So I just about got hit by a bike, on my bike by a truck. And then I pulled into our subdivision and almost got hit by another car and clipped my pedal on the ground. If you ever clipped your pedal on the ground and you're clipped into the pedals, like you're attached to the pedals, it lifts the whole bike up. And so I had two very heart racing moments just before. And this is moments, like this is 2 minutes max before I hit our driveway. So I was pretty tense, pretty anxious, pretty wound up. My heart was still racing. The adrenaline was still flowing like you can't believe. And it was a day that I was shooting for a PR. So I was already max effort energy. I had depleted everything I'd put in because it was the end of a 45-minute lung burner.
Yeah. And when you told me that, I took a step back too. And I was like, oh, dang. Like that could have ended a completely different way. And that would have been horrible. Mm-hmm. But that made me think of this. And you came in and you were responding because of what had just happened. But you didn't realize that that was happening. You didn't realize you walked in and were just snappy and irritated and frustrated because you still had all this energy going through you, that you were freaked out. And I didn't know. And so I'm glad that I reacted from a calmer place where I could say, what's going on? Like, why are you so irritated? like, what happened? And then for you to open up, to take a step back and be like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was doing that. This is what just happened. And then for me to be like, whoa, like I'm sorry. And that made me look at the situation in a different way.
And that really comes back to the communication aspect. I could have been better. We can always do better.
Right.
You reacted in a way and you responded in a way with love and asked what is going on because you are currently not in your normal responsiveness after going to the gym or after the bike ride, which, as she said, is my meditation time. That's usually when I come in like my most peaceful of the day because I just meditated for the last hour and asking questions. And that's really, if you've been paying attention, communication is really just asking questions.
Not assuming.
Trying to gain clarity, trying to gain understanding. You can assume you know the situation. I assure you, you don't. And I would bet you neither does your spouse.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that I was being snappy. I thought I was being just trying to help. I remember very clearly they were being rambunctious and I said, what the freak, man? Calm down. And I was trying to help, but my trying to help exacerbated the problems.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. I just knew they were wound up. And I was internally wound up, but I was trying to not be. I was doing my very best to not be. And then she said, you know, what is going on? And that also makes me step back like, oh man, I got to check myself now. I thought I was doing good. Clearly I'm not. Very often in your relationships, you think you're doing good. How do you know if you are or not? If somebody is not giving you the constructive criticism. Keep it constructive. Destructive criticism is pointless. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. This goes back to a few episodes ago is what is your North Star? What is your end goal? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to become better together or are you just trying to tear them down? Are you trying to make yourself look cool in front of somebody that already thinks you're the coolest person there is anyways? Why let your ego get in the way when you have an opportunity to grow?
Yeah. And you have to do this internally first. You have to do this for you individually to be able to learn to control your emotions. It's not going to happen overnight. You are going to have times when you're just irritated, frustrated, and you're going to snap. And then right after you're like, dang it, I shouldn't have done that. I've done that all the time. But I'm becoming more aware of those moments and learning right before that happens to take a deep breath. Sometimes we'll do the box breathing.
Side note, do you guys know what box breathing is? It's 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold.
Do that.
About 10 times.
Yep. And it will calm you down. It's hard the first couple times, but it will calm you down. And I have noticed that the more that I catch myself a few seconds before I'm going to freak out, snap, get irritated, frustrated, whatever it may be, take those deep breaths, box breathe. Then I can think through my thoughts and come from a more collected place of, okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Instead of reacting out of emotion, try acting with intention.
Enough said. What do you guys think? Michaela led the whole thing.
You're welcome.
Boom. We hope you guys are enjoying these as much as we're enjoying recording them. They have opened up more channels of conversation for us as we talk about these episodes, what we will talk about, what we did talk about. We put this stuff into our daily lives just like we're telling you to do. This is how we act. This is how we do. And we've received a lot of messages, a ton of very resourceful, excited messages of you guys implementing these things into your life. And I promise you, you will see immediate and drastic change within your relationship. And so many of these people that have responded back to us just saying, I have absolutely loved what you said here, what you did there. Keep in mind, we didn't make this stuff up. We're just implementing the things that we learned.
Yeah.
And we are passing on the things that we learned because you don't know what you don't know. And that's okay. But as long as you strive to grow, and we've actually had people reach out and say, hey, have you tried this? Have you thought that? And it was a little different than how we do and shared with you guys in this show. And we've implemented those things and we've learned along the way because we're having conversations. We appreciate the conversations. We appreciate the reviews. We appreciate you for listening and tuning in. It does not go unnoticed. It has been really cool to see the response and the reaction. So we thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you so much. It has been such a cool experience so far. And I have loved all the conversations and all the feedback. It's been really good. And it's exciting to start seeing people who are incorporating these little tips and tricks. It's not anything crazy or huge, but starting to do them and seeing a difference. It's really, really amazing.
So share this with your significant other. Have these conversations with your friends, your family, your loved ones. Like it, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, we love you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.